Oh my gosh, it is about that magical time of year again. College football season is on the horizon. I'm Dylan Hildreth. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because we are going to predict Ohio State and Michigan schedule week to week, right here, right now. So, we're going to start with the reigning, defending, undisputed national champions, the Michigan Wolverines. So, we got Michigan against Fresno State. We all know how this game is going to go. It is it's going to be the average tune-up game. Michigan may come out of the gate a little slow, just getting that preseason rust that uh, for many players on this team, the first big action jitters, gonna shake that all away. Michigan beats Fresno State. Now Ohio State week 1 against Akron. Yeah, do I have to explain myself? Ohio State's never lost to a team in state. They are undefeated against every single team in the state of Ohio. They've never lost. And they're not going to lose in week 2 either against Western Michigan. Because they really went to the bottom of the barrel, didn't they? Holy cow. Anyway, so let's hop back over. Game of the week. Week 2, Michigan, Texas, the two winningest programs in all of college football, take center stage in Ann Arbor. More than likely going to be the big noon kickoff game on Fox. Now, we have Quinn Ewers, Heisman favorite, Steve Sarkisian, an offensive-minded head coach. But here's the thing. We haven't really seen a Quinn Ewers go against a solid defense like Michigan. We haven't seen it. Texas has never faced a defense Michigan last year. And also, as we know, Steve Sarkisian has the ability to mess things up. He somehow didn't do it until the very end of the season in the playoffs. But this is a whole new ball game in the SEC. There's a lot of expectations at Texas. Last time they had this kind of expectations, they barely made a bowl game. Actually, I think they went like 8-4. I'd have to double check on that. But anyway, then Michigan, you have everyone being replaced essentially, outside of Donovan Edwards and Will Johnson on defense. So it's going to be a young, inexperienced program against a wily veteran expected to compete for not only the SEC title but the national title with the Heisman winning quarterback to boot. But again, Michigan may have the most dynamic quarterback running back duo in Alex Orji and Donovan Edwards in college football. And this is going to be the first time we're really going to see what Orji and Edwards can do together. And I think they're going to beat Texas. They're going to catch the nation off guard and have a Texas-sized upset, albeit in Ann Arbor. And I think that's going to be the difference. Michigan in a close one against the Longhorns. And then it's Arkansas State, dude. But like, what do you want me to say? I couldn't name a single player on Arkansas State. So, moving over. Ohio State on the bye, week 3 after those two tough MAC games. Marshall. Ohio State takes care of business at Marshall. It's going to be, I would say it's going to be closer, but I don't think it's going to be another mop-up game. So, I'm going to flip right back over to Michigan. Michigan, USC for week 4. So, we have Lincoln Riley now without Caleb Williams. Seeing what he can do with quarterbacks. But, every single time USC has played a solid defense like Michigan will have, that quarterback, whoever it may be, crumbles. Struggle. Doesn't look like they were the previous games against more inferior opponents. This is the toughest physically season USC has ever experienced. And with that, I think Michigan is going to be able to just squeak by USC. And again, having a very dynamic backfield. Michigan also retains the little brown jug, takes care of Minnesota. Now, jump back over to Ohio State. We have Ohio State and Michigan State. This is going to be a close game. Michigan State's gonna pop Ohio State in the mouth. The question is Ryan Day ready to counter? This is going to be the first big test. This is going to be a grueling part of the schedule because Michigan State's going to be better than what everybody's saying. Because again, Jonathan Smith, the new head coach at Michigan State, he's very, very good at it. Ohio State wins, but it is close. It's going to make the Buckeye fans' rear end pucker up. And you got Iowa. I hope Iowa puts up a fight. I like to see Iowa do good. But I have my doubts. Flipping back over to Michigan. On the road to Washington. This is where things get a little hazy. Get a little scary. This is going to be the first road test for Alex Orji under center, having to deal with crowd noise and a load of it to boot. Washington, Seattle is one of the most underrated places in college football. It is a tough place to play. You can ask Oregon. Give me the Huskies in a revenge game. And yes, this is going to be a revenge game for the Huskies. The Huskies, they are able to contain Alex Orji and Donovan Edwards just enough to beat Michigan and hand the Wolverines their first loss of the year, making them 2-1. Now, back over to Ohio State against Oregon in Eugene to boot. This is going to be a tough one. You have Dan Lanning, who I think is a better coach than Ryan Day. You have Dylan Gabriel, who I think is going to have a career year. It's going to be turning back the clock to when he was at UCF, putting up massive numbers. The question is, can Ohio State match Oregon? Because Oregon's going to pop you in the mouth, just like Michigan did last year and the year before and the year before. This is going to test to see how ready Ohio State is for Michigan. And I think Ohio State is going to stub their toe on Oregon. And Dylan Gabriel goes into the halls of Eugene as the big man on campus. Oregon upsetting the Buckeyes in their week 7. So, Ohio State goes back on another bye, so let's hop over to Michigan, as they're on a bye in week 7 as well. So, week 8, we have Michigan on the road against Illinois in Champaign. Brett Bielema coaching the Illini. And I'm going to be honest, I don't quite know who's all left for Illinois, but I know who Brett Bielema is. He is a good football coach. It is at home. Illinois has special unis for this game. They are going to be up to the task while Michigan is looking ahead at Michigan State and Oregon. Michigan wins it though. It's going to be close. It's going to make the Wolverine Nation shiver. Keep them up all week long leading into the next game against Michigan State. But before we get there, we got some business to take care of. Is that week 7? Wait, hold on. 7. Okay, okay, they're on a bye. So, let's just dive right into week 9. Michigan State. The in-state battle, one of my favorites on the college football schedule. You have Go Green, Go White, and then you have Go Blue. The battle for Paul Bunyan. This game is going to be close, and I feel like a broken record saying this, but Jonathan Smith, he is a damn good coach. The last 3 coaches to have their first crack at Michigan, they were successful. You know what? I'm feeling an upset. Give me Sparty. Give me Jonathan Smith. Let Michigan State stake their claim and potentially be a dark horse for the Big Ten and the college football playoff. Now we slide back over to Ohio State for week 9 against Nebraska. This is a Super Bowl game for Nebraska. The test for Dylan Raiola. And Matt Rhule, he's a damn good coach. Regardless what Paul Feinbaum says, Matt Rhule knows what he's doing in college. Second year, there's always that one statement win that Matt Rhule has. But it is not this weekend. I think the Ohio State offense is too much. The Ohio State defense, they are still very, very good. So, I'm going to take the Buckeyes to beat Nebraska. It's gonna be close. Flipping back over to Michigan for 10. Yeah. Flip back over. Michigan, Oregon. A big college football weekend here. You got Michigan, Oregon. Then you got Ohio State, Penn State. So this could very well be the NBC night game. Or it could be Ohio State, Penn State. Either way. It's going to be a fun weekend. So you have Oregon on the road, traveling across 2 time zones to play this game against a defense that beats you down. But is Michigan going to be able to weather the storm of losing 2 as 3? That is the question. Do they still believe? Because you're going to have to believe. You're going to have to eat your Wheaties to beat this Oregon team. I don't think they do. I think they dropped the second straight at home against Oregon. Give me the Ducks. They're a better time to be a Duck. It is be a Wolverine. Moving over to Ohio State, Penn State. This is it for James Franklin. This is the Super Bowl. You win this game, you are on pace to be in the college football playoff, to win the Big Ten. You are on pace to do all of that. If you win this game at home, either the big noon kickoff or under the lights, have the opportunity to pull this off. The question is, does he do it? New offensive coordinator? It could. And when it comes time for this game, I may pick Penn State. But knowing what I know now, as of right now, I have to go Ohio State. This Ohio State team is much better than it was last year. And that Ohio State last year, it took Penn State behind the woodshed and took its lunch money and left him hanging by his underwear on the flagpole. Then Ohio State is going to beat Purdue. Enough said. It's Purdue. Moving over to Michigan. They're going to beat Indiana. It's Indiana. They get back on the winning streak. And, yeah. I got that one. So, Ohio State at Northwestern. this could be interesting. Northwestern's always been a team to get so close to that hump, but just can't quite get over under Pat Fitzgerald. Now, in this particular season, it's not going to be this year. I think Ryan Waters can work, but not this time. And then a border battle. Michigan, Indiana, or Ohio State, Indiana. Sorry, Hoosiers. They may make it closer because it is a trap game, but Ohio State still prevails. And then we move over to Michigan, Northwestern. Ooh, tough back-to-back for Northwestern. Beaten down by Ohio State, finished off by Michigan. Unfortunate scheduling for the Wildcats, but Michigan moves on. And then we got the game. Ohio State, Michigan, in Columbus. Ryan Day's job is on the line. Everything rides on this game for Ryan Day. And for Michigan, this could very well be the last-ditch effort to try to get into the college football playoff as that last wild card team, give them that statement win that they have to go with Texas, to go with potentially a USC. But I gotta pick the Buckeyes. Sorry, Michigan. I gotta stay neutral on this. Because Ohio State is just simply, with all evidence that we have right now, Ohio State is simply a better team. They are They are filled with vengeance. They are filled with piss and vinegar, and they want to knock the schnot out of Michigan for all the hell that they've gone through over the past 3 years. Because Buckeye Nation, they do not put up with losing to Michigan 4 times in a row easily. They sure as hell didn't do it 3 years in a row. And if they lose that second game at home, oh my god. Columbus will burn to the ground. But I think that's something that we will not have to find out for at least another 4 years. Because, again, Ohio State wins this. Ohio State has dug deep in the NIL piggy bank, pull this up to put this team together. And by God, if they're going to let their hated rival ruin that, give me Ohio State over Michigan. And what would you could consider to be a successful year for Michigan? They got the win against Texas. They got the win against USC. They fought valiantly against Oregon. Got tripped up by Michigan State. Fought valiantly on the road against Washington. It's just one of those years where the roster doesn't line up with a tough schedule. Maybe 2-3 years down the road, and maybe 2 years down the road with a more mature roster, this would be a much more manageable schedule. But with what Michigan's got to replace, with the shoes that Sherrone Moore has to step into, it's going to be a tough ask to actually get to the playoffs for Michigan. And I think they go 8-4. 9-3, I think, is their ceiling. Because they can beat Michigan State. And they can they can make it close enough to Oregon to make it a coin toss. But I mean, 8-4 is your best bet for Michigan. Ohio State, one loss on the road, probably going to get that rematch in the Big Ten title game in what is essentially home field advantage against Oregon. They'll get their revenge game. And they'll probably going to beat Oregon in that second game. So, who knows what's gonna happen. But make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because next video up, we'll do Oregon and Washington, because those are the two next best teams that I wouldn't like to watch. So, till then, see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching.